Let's go for it. All
All
right.
right.
What do you want to talk about today?
Let's talk about abundance versus scarcity mindset. Tell me about your philosophy with this, because I feel like you talk about it a lot. It's extremely important, and it's one of the hardest things to grasp, especially when you're feeling the squeeze of like, shit, I got to make money now.
Squeeze of life.
Yeah, the squeeze of life.
They're like more and more. Every day I look up, I swear there's like another mouth to feed in my house. Like my infant is starting solids, so I'm like, oh, good.
Great. More berries.
Yeah, just like more. He's like eating like now I just need to buy like a fifth potato.
Oh my God. You know, for like a whole year, I didn't eat any berries because I was scared that if I had one berry and then they wanted like one more berry, it was going to be my fault and it would be the tantrum. And I just couldn't. So like, I just didn't.
What?
I didn't eat berries. And I remember like someone came over and I was like, oh man, I looked at the raspberries and I was like offering them a raspberry. And I was like, man, I haven't even had a raspberry in a year. And they're like, what are you talking about?
This is craziness.
It's like, these are for the kids.
Talking about.
They're precious cargo.
This is hilarious. I've never heard of like you would just didn't want to like we ran out of cookies.
Yeah.
And my 2-year-old was like going ballistic. He's like whips the fridge open.
Yeah.
Rips the cabinets open. He's like, pick me up. I need to see in this like level of the cabinet. He's like, where's the cookies now? I'm like, there are no cookies.
Uh-oh.
We're out of cookies. And he's just like, no, there's a cookie in here. I know it. You're hiding it from me. So he lives on abundance with abundance.
Right.
Anyway, abundance versus scarcity mindset. This is, I don't think we spend enough time realizing the mode we're in.
Okay.
And I've tried to make a more conscious effort to be in abundance mindset, especially because the business that I'm in, I talk about niching down a lot. And then niching down immediately triggers the scarcity mindset of people.
Mm-hmm. I felt that when we first talked about it.
Yeah. Why did you feel that? Like, what is it about niching down that makes you feel like there's not going to be enough?
I think before you fully understand berries, the way you explain niching down is not how I understood it. So what I understood was if I can do blogs and email and social, I have to pick one. There's no world in which you can do more than one thing. I feel like that was the mindset that I had, and that's the mindset a lot of people have, and that's not how you describe it.
But even let's run with that.
Okay.
What is triggering about saying you can only do blogs? Like, why does that trigger the scarcity mindset? Like there's not going to be enough blogs to write or something.
It's not that. It's actually not that at all. It's why would I tell people I'm a specialist in this thing when I have the capability of doing more things, and then people are going to assume I am only skilled in one thing. And that's a damn shame because I can actually help them with more if they want to. Also, it makes my ego feel bad. Picked up all these skills along the way, and now I'm just going to drop them.
I think that's the key word here is assume.
Yes.
Like it's this weird thing where we assume that other people will assume it's the only thing you can do.
Yep.
But when you look at other people who are like, I'm the blog specialist, I don't assume that that's the only thing that they're capable of writing. Like that's the thing they probably love writing the most.
Right, but what if you can't pick? So with me, I struggled to pick. I still struggle to pick. Like so a lot of this came from me niching a little bit to social. And then I had a panic attack because there's a lot of really bad like inexperienced writers that claim to be social ghosts. It's like the lowest barrier to entry.
Yeah.
So
well, there's a lot of really bad people in every
I know. But like I had just come off this career of being a head of content, mostly of organic blogs. And that felt to me harder than social, even if it's not fair. It was like my own ego and bias towards like, this is harder. And therefore I don't want to tell people that I can't do hard things. Like it made me feel like I was telling people I can't do hard things. It's really weird. It's a very weird mindset thing. None of it is true.
Yeah. Well, there's so much here. So this is interesting. I hadn't really considered that this scarcity mindset shows up in so many different ways. Like the most common one for me that I see, especially it revolves around competition
Mm.
more so than like there's not gonna like the pie's not gonna be big
Okay,
enough.
so talk to me about what you normally see, because my experience might be quite unique to me.
Well, it's completely valid. It's just different than the way that it usually presents itself to me. So
Okay.
in my experience, especially working with solos and helping with offers, like there's a lot of people that are in the similar line of work.
Yeah.
I always talk about Max Trailer, because he was like he's no longer working with solos in a super direct way anymore, but he was helping consultants productize their services.
Mm-hmm.
So different than offer creation, but like a similar line of work.
Yep.
Why niching on the problem matters, but that's a whole other thing.
Yep.
And so people would be like, oh, like I can't believe you would interview Max Trailer on your podcast twice. It's like there's this guy, Joe Daniels out of the UK. He just started a company called Niche Builder. He's a solopreneur helping solopreneurs niche down. I had him on my podcast the other day. I was like, Joe, love you, buddy. Like, because I had to make a point in my life that I have more love and respect for anyone trying to make a difference for solopreneurs
Right.
than to say than to try to put up a wall or pretend or compete. Like if you need what those people have, you don't need me.
Right, but how do you, so then the question becomes, but how do you explain to people the difference? I think a lot of people get stuck there. When you say, if you need what they have, you don't need me, how are you so confident in that? And what if they are selling something quite similar?
This is where your own experience is really gonna come into play.
Okay.
So, for example, just because Max Trailer is the consultant for consultants in a similar way that I am, like the work that he does with them takes them to a different place.
Okay.
Than the work that I do. And this also comes like, yeah, at first I was like, how am I different from someone like Max Trailer?
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just like it was objectively true the second I heard about him. I had to look at this and go, what is true?
Yeah.
What is just like what's very matter of fact about this? So then, and also kind of it helps you realize what makes you special.
Yep.
And you're like, I don't need to necessarily spend all this time productizing, like trying to help people productize. Like, do we go into that stuff? Sure, yeah, a little bit.
Yep.
But that's not the core of it. That's not the problem I'm here to solve for people. Versus like someone like Joe who's helping people niche down. I even told him my own experience. I was like, dude, I had a really hard time selling that.
Yeah.
Versus selling the offer and doing it this way. So like I shared my experience with him. I was like, I want you to be successful. I want you to, so like, don't make some of the same mistakes that I made. Maybe you'll be successful. Maybe you'll find a way around it that I wasn't able to find.
Right.
But we also have a different process. This is why the approach is so important.
That's where I was going to go next, because I think a lot of people in here are in the marketing world, right? The content, the brand, the positioning,
the content differentiation problem.
Right. You know, and so we're all doing the same thing, but the process is different. And so I think that's why, like, maybe we should elevate the process even more than we already do, because to me, like, that's been the biggest eye opener in content sparring and all the stuff I'm doing with the workbook. Like now with the MP3, like I literally, you and I made up a framework and I've taken it and just turned it into this thing where it's like, you now create content from this mindset. This is my process. Yeah. And it's just different. It's different because of that. It's going to get you to the same end goal though. It's just my process is different.
Yeah. I mean, arguably it could take them to a different place. It could be, people have to agree with the way you see the world, and your process is part of that. But they don't care. They cannot care about your process until they care about the problem. This is like the big, like this is the tension. And most people are like, I have a unique process. Let's hammer on that.
Right.
Because that's the differentiator here. The problem isn't necessarily a differentiator for some people.
Right. So the problem for me was pillars suck. I hate pillars. goodbye pillars. And if you agree with that, then you're open to trying this new way of thinking.
Yes. And I would argue that, I mean, even just at its most basic level, it's just like, how do we differentiate the content that we're creating? Like, how do we make stuff that people want to care about? Right? We talked a lot about Elise LeMay.
Right.
It's like she's trying to solve a similar problem, and she has an approach called creator gravity. And she's like, here's the whole creator gravity concept. Like, if you agree with that approach, you may or may not agree with the MP3 framework, but it doesn't really matter, because now you don't have to sit there and compete. It's just like, you have to, the way that she's going to articulate the problem is going to call on, like, some certain people will resonate with that more or less than the people who will resonate with you in the way that you articulate it. And that's the whole point. So like but the only way you're going to get there and to commit to building your version of the MP3 framework or building your version of creator gravity or whatever the hell the thing is abundance.
Yes. So let's circle back. What is the difference between abundance and scarcity? I'm not sure we even answered that because I went on a tangent about raspberries.
Of all the berries, too, I mean, blueberries are clearly the superior berry. Raspberries that stuck in your teeth is a fucking nightmare.
Blueberries, it's so hit or miss on whether they're going to be crunchy enough.
True. If they're
don't mushy,
pop, if they don't have like a good pop,
if they don't pop, it's not worth it.
Yeah,
I completely agree.
All right.
Anyway,
scarcity mindset here is when I think people. In this context, too, specifically in the context that we're talking about here, I mean, scarcity mindset shows up in a lot of different ways. But in this context specifically, it's like, what if I niche down too deep? What if I make my audience too small and it doesn't, and there's no one there? I will tell you that this is like a caricature of what niching down actually is, because I've never seen a single person ever in the history of ever niche down so deep that there was no one left. I've just never seen anyone do it.
Yep.
But they think that, like, right, just by definition, that's scarcity. It's like, well, there's no one there.
Yep. How can you convince people that this is true?
Well, I'm not in the business of convincing the unwilling. This is a big...
No, but you're willing. You're willing. You've opted in. You've bought Full Stack. You've signed up to coach with Nick Bennett. And you have a panic attack halfway through that it's not going to work. What do you do then?
Reset the focus. Like, typically when that happens, it's because the focus is too much on, like, it's on, I'm going to make it up and say, like, pizza makers in like Chicago, pizzerias on the South Side that were started in between 2000 and 2007, earning less than $1 million a year. Like, it's like, that's just like a caricature of a niche. I mean, like, yes, that's like a very specific person.
Yep.
But if you can't say something that's going to get them to raise their hand and go, wow, that is exactly the problem that I face, that pizza makers on the South Side of Chicago doing doing more than $1 million a year, or pizza makers in New York or anywhere, or that are not going to be able to opt into, is insanity. This was like, I was talking to someone recently, and she wanted to niche into like YouTube for women.
Okay.
Like helping female entrepreneurs succeed on YouTube. And I was like, how do you describe a problem that female entrepreneurs face on YouTube that is different from problems that everybody else who tries to, like, teenagers experience on YouTube, or men, or anybody, like the senior citizens that are trying to build a YouTube channel, right? Like, how do you describe a problem that specifically female entrepreneurs face on YouTube that's different? And sometimes it's really hard to go. It's like, well, I'm really passionate about helping female entrepreneurs. That's good. But if we can't explain their problem to them, then I think we're in the wrong place, or I think something is off. Now, recently we talked to Lindsay Chekma, and she was like, I want to coach female founders of like VC-backed tech companies, or female founders who want to get VC funding.
Yep.
And I posed to her the same thing. And she was like, well, the game female founders have to play in order to receive funding, in order to get the attention and the respect of VCs is very different, to build a leadership team, to become a leader. All of the challenges that they face and all the learnings that's out there is all like, it's all incorrect advice. And the way that they have to operate is a totally different thing. I understand that game because I played it. And I was like, that's exactly the difference.
It. That's exactly it. And it's so compelling when you articulate the problem from that point of view. Then again, I now know Lindsay has the experience, the nuanced experience to take me through this. Whatever her process is, like she gets it. And so I'm going to be much more interested in hiring her than just anyone targeting anyone for anything. Do you know what I mean?
Targeting anyone saying, I help female founders raise more money.
Yeah.
Right. So she understands, like, and the whole thing comes down to how can you articulate the problem in the way that it shows up in their life. That's kind of the whole thing here. But we're getting a little off track, right? So, but this is how this plays into scarcity and abundance, which is, this is one way of finding extreme abundance inside of a niche that feels very narrow.
Yep.
That could feel very scarce. So I'm not saying it's not possible to articulate the problems that female entrepreneurs face on YouTube. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I think it's entirely possible. I don't know what those things are, but someone does.
Yeah, I'm sure tons of people do.
And so if you can
it takes being a female entrepreneur on YouTube to understand it.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So I think that if you're trying to go too narrow, if you feel like you're too narrow, you're probably out of your element. That might be the thing here. You might be you're going to start kicking into imposter syndrome, where you feel like you're in a place that you don't belong because you're trying to do something for someone you don't feel like you've done, or like you're just out of your zone a little bit. And that's probably why it feels scary.
I've been there a few times recently, even where I thought content sparring, it's kind of the opposite, actually. I niched into what I know is good and I can do. And then I still said yes to someone who wanted to pay me the highest monthly retainer anyone had ever offered, which is not as high as I just made that sound, but it was high for me. And I said yes. And I think I talked about this on the last coaching call. It was content sparring, but for this guy's book. And I've done that once before, but that was completely different because that guy was writing a book on a subject matter that I completely understood. And this was outside of that. And it just didn't work at all. And we paused the agreement because it's not working. And that to me, like I was feeling imposter syndrome as I was doing it. And I was like, anytime I feel imposter syndrome now, I know that that's a sign that I've gone too far outside of my niche. So there's like two ways to look at it. If you're niched, but you've chosen a niche and then you feel imposter syndrome, that might be the wrong niche. And if you've chosen a niche and then you say yes to things because not even shiny object, but just opportunities come along and you want to give it a go and see if it is something that you want to do, and you feel imposter syndrome, you might have gone too far outside of your niche. So there's some interesting, like your gut kind of always tells you.
Yeah. If you're feeling like you're deceiving people in a and not intentionally.
Yeah.
Like you can have big goals and aspirations. Like, I want to work with big tech companies. I want to consult with CMOs of enterprise tech companies, but it's like you've never worked for a tech company before.
Yeah.
Like you're just kind of out of your element and you're not going to feel very confident about that. And so it's going to feel, even though you could feel a lot of scarcity, even though there is a lot of abundance there.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
All right. So what do we do? What do we do when we've been working on trying to figure out the niche and you are confident that you have the ability? It's not the imposter syndrome, but you're just scared. You're scared that you're going to launch this and you're going to end up without anyone there with their hand up to buy.
Well, I think the ability to this idea of market engineering, like you can create a market for anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the markets in the world didn't just magically appear. Someone went out and created the market for the thing.
Yeah. Especially fucking bacon. Have you seen that?
No.
Like the reason we eat bacon for breakfast in this country, I might be wrong on the food. I think it's bacon. It might be eggs. It's one of those. It's a breakfast food. Is because they I'm going to mess up the story. They got some doctors, like 700 doctors to agree that it's good for you. But like marketers asked doctors to say that. And then they were like, "Look, doctor said it's good for you." And they like changed the whole industry. I'll find the story. I'll drop it in the show notes. It's
All
very
right.
important stuff.
Well, I mean, I think the market for smartphones is like a pretty obvious, easy, gigantic example. Like there was no market for a phone that connected to the internet, and someone went out there and created it. Like, there you go.
Yeah.
So your tolerance for that, and your to do that work, like there was like very little market for the stuff that I did. In that, like, yes, there were solopreneurs out there, but I had to go out there and create this little subsection of solopreneurs that were struggling with this one particular problem.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't go out there and create solopreneurs. I'm also expanding the category of solopreneurs because there's a lot of people who are trying to become solopreneurs,
right?
Who kind of they don't go through us, but they utilize our platform to help do that thing. So category expansion is a huge thing on this. But anyway, so I think your question was, so what do you do?
Yeah. What do you do?
Well, your tolerance for engineering a market, right? Creating a market, may or may not be there, but it's not impossible to do. There's also this idea of a mismatch. Like, I've been there, you've been there. Like, we've all created stuff that nobody's wanted before.
Yeah.
It's just
painful.
Part of the process. Like,
but it's
you're
part
not
of the
going to
process.
hit 1,000. You're not going to be batting 1,000 here. I mean, all the people that we see are successful all have a story of all the stuff and all the things they've done that no one has cared about.
Yep.
All the products that are just the graveyard of products. Yep. There's a joke site up that's like Google. It's called like the Google Graveyard or something. And it's literally like the thousands of products that a company like as big as Google has created that have just been completely shut down because no one cared, right? This is Google. One of the most recognizable brands on the planet. You would think anything they touch turns to gold. But no, it's not. That's not it. That's not the thing. So sometimes you're going to get it wrong. There's going to be a mismatch. The problem's not valuable. The problem's not urgent. The people, you're going to also learn, like for me, I learned that like know who sees value in the problem that I'm trying to solve? Not really marketing agencies. It's solopreneurs.
But how did you figure that out? So let's get tangible. We've
talked a lot about Signal.
So but they have to start conversations about what they're trying to do.
Yeah. This is you can't wait.
You have
to take an idea, and this is, I think, a dysfunction in our curriculum.
I agree.
Which is
we need to change this.
There's no really great way for us to be like, do this, then post about it, then continue to work on your offer, and then post about it. Like certain things, and I think we just need to make this expectation, like just set this expectation where it's like you're going to be running 2 plays at the same time.
Right.
You're going to have to get an idea and start running with it and aerating it publicly to work it out as you're building the thing.
Yeah.
Going through the offer design process.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember before I met you, I tried a bunch of things. I tried to just be an editing coach. I tried to maybe run workshops and train marketing teams and agencies. I tried all these things to see if the way that I thought about the problem was present in the market. And it was sort of, but like then the things that people were asking me for on sales calls didn't align with what I was actually trying to do. None of it made sense, but I had to figure that out the hard way. Like I had to go to the effort of marketing something and then getting on sales calls a couple times to realize like, oh, this isn't it. Like I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
And that's painful, but I did that. I did that multiple times. And luckily, like I've got a network. So anyone I hopped in a sales call with, it was very easy for me to be like, you know what? I actually don't solve this problem that you're describing, but I have friends who do. And so they were still happy. Like it didn't like burn bridges. But yeah, it was part of the process. I do agree though. The curriculum, the whole like step 1, step 2, step 3, it's not like that. Like they're all mushed together. So we've got to figure out a way to get people aerating the problem before they're done with their offer.
Yeah. Without it feeling super disjointed. Like the
Right.
part where it's like, you have figured out a problem to solve. Go to skill 2 and post about it. Like,
Yeah.
stop
kind of
here.
like-
Like, choose your own adventure. It's like, go to this one, do this thing, come back. Anyway, I can figure that out. There's a way to do it.
We'll figure it out. Yeah. Can we
There's a way-
just have an aside real quick? Because
Yeah.
I did Google it, and it is bacon, and I just need to read this.
Okay.
Bacon is a staple American breakfast food because of an Edward Bernays PR campaign for the Beech Nut Company that used somewhat misguided physician opinions and the media to change public opinion of a failing product. So basically, bacon was not cool, and now bacon's the coolest thing in the world.
Yeah.
Because they created a category for bacon. That's all.
There you go.
I had to close the loop on that.
Market engineered.
Yep. Anyway.
No, I'm glad you closed the loop on this one, because this is that I would have been thinking about that one for a while.
Stop.
I also just took your word for it. I was probably like, yeah, I would have retold that story to people. I'm like, yeah, did you know bacon didn't exist? Like, that no one wanted bacon. They're like, really?
All I did was Google, why do we eat bacon for breakfast? So feel free to do the same.
Okay. I'm good.
All right.
Okay. This concept that like niching into a market that's not viable, I think that's really where I just want to put a bow on this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, there's no magic here. Like, I want to reinforce the abundance mindset of this work.
Yeah.
Like, in that there's no such thing as like a non-viable market. Every market's going to spend money on something. It's not so much that the market's not viable, but that there's a mismatch between like the problem and the pain. Like, there's a million problems in my life. Many of these problems I do not care to solve. I do not care to spend money on. That's the difference.
Right.
Right. If it's not very painful, therefore not very urgent, therefore not very valuable. Problems that need solving immediately are very expensive problems.
Right.
And this is the tough.
How do you then navigate? Because it's tough because like,
there's no magic formula to it. Like, this is the whole signal, like, make noise, listen for signal idea.
Yeah.
Like, I can't, you have a process with your new content engine that lays this out in a way that is a little more cut and dry.
Yeah.
But that doesn't eliminate the need for doing that work.
Yes.
Like, there is no way to circumvent it unless you have, because here's the thing, right? This comes down to data. Most of us have no data.
Yeah.
So you have to go out there and create data. So how do you do that? You go and post stuff, right? That's like the easiest way to, like, what we're saying by make noise and listen for signal is go get some data.
Mm-hmm.
Prove your hypothesis. We collect a boatload of data just by full stack being in existence.
Yep.
All the stuff that people come to the coaching calls with questions, all the sales calls we have with the concerns that people bring to us, all of the onboarding surveys. So it's like it's product development is kind of happening. It's built into the process.
There's a cool trick that you can do, by the way, just to get a little tangible. I've done this before. When you run a lead magnet, in order to get people, like, in order for them to get it, yes, they have to give you their email if you want to capture that. But if you don't want to capture email, you can also just capture survey answers via like Typeform. So you can say, I've got this lead magnet, you get this, this, and this. All I need from you is 2 minutes of your time up front to answer some questions, and then you get the thing.
Yeah.
And you can create a Typeform. You ask the questions, and at the very end, it says, thanks, here's the link, and it automatically pops up the link for them, and they get it. Yep. Like, it's very simple. And I did that for the first ever lead magnet I ran, and I got a buttload of data from people about the problems that they were struggling with and the things that they wanted. And then I reflected that in a lot of my content moving forward.
And this was before ChatGPT and Good Claude could.
I know, fuck, it took so long.
So you have to sit there and like think about it for a
who
long time.
Who thinks anymore? It's terrible.
I know. You sit there and like let it swirl around in your brain.
Oh,
like
God, Claude is so
person.
good at analyzing data. It's my absolute favorite.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think this is the thing that I want to just continue to drive home. We can't let the scarcity mindset prevent us from taking action. Like this is my soapbox for the day.
Yeah.
Can't let the scarcity mindset prevent us from taking action. I think this is where the wheels fall off. We get scared. We're going to niche in the wrong thing. We're going to pick the wrong thing. We're going to pick the wrong target. I'm literally editing a clip from the Sean Blanda episode of 1000 Routes, like right before we jumped on this. And it was him asking a similar question. He was like, I'm terrified of picking the wrong target.
Right. Yeah.
It's like,
you
yeah,
might.
I hear
you
that.
You might.
Yeah, you probably will.
Yeah.
You most likely will pick the
That's
wrong
the other
target.
thing. I
The
feel
earlier you are, the more likely your target will be wrong, or some element of the Venn diagram of variables.
Yeah.
One of them is going to be wrong.
It's really hard when you look at people who have quote unquote figured it out, because you are seeing the effort of years of failures before they got there. Like even Justin Welsh, like the king of LinkedIn. That's not what he started with, you know? He was wrong many times. He started a newsletter, grew it to like 5,000, and then killed the whole list and started again because he realized it was the wrong subject. It's like,
no one would do that. Like most people are like, oh shit, like they're like that's
it's like Justin Welsh didn't just wake up one day and go, I'm going to be the LinkedIn dude with $1 million in sales. Like it was hard work. Like,
he sold services, and he's told you. I think you've met him. Like you've been on a call with him.
Yeah, I've talked to him twice. Yeah.
So it's not like this isn't you observing this. Like these are this is fact.
Yeah.
Like I even think about some people who leave a job, and they come out and they're like, they go, oh wow, like that person was really successful pretty quick. Well, they were terrified to leave their job.
Mm-hmm.
They were scared to death to do it. Like I just had Ramley John on, and I was like, dude, you've written books with people like Wes Bush, and he's like, yeah. And I had a kid on the way, or he just had his kid, and he's like, I was terrified to leave. Like there's so many variables, so much stuff that could go wrong. He's done onboarding flows for companies like Zapier, and he was at AppQs for a while. Like he worked with these huge companies.
Yeah.
And from the outside, be like, I would never be afraid.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. And so it's like, it takes a lot of building, and they're most of the time, they don't go out on their own and then try to figure it out. Most of the time in-house is spent working out, doing like the side projects on stuff that they're like, don't want to do that, don't want to do that, don't want to do that. Like taking on projects, hating the work. Taking on a different project, liking it a little bit more. Taking on the next project, liking it a little bit more, so that they are doing all the data collection and stuff beforehand.
Yeah. Yeah. This has been absolutely not a straight path for me. Even after I figured out content sparring, I still took a fractional managing editor gig because I needed to know.
And you're like, damn it. Why did
if I really
do that?
hated it. Oh man, upon reflection, that was a massive mistake. But I learned, I satisfied, and I scratched an itch. I needed to know, are blogs for B2B SaaS companies still the thing? Took the gig. Answer is no. Like now I can just definitively check that off my list.
Yeah.
Like, that's my personality. I need to do the hard thing to realize the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's wrap up on abundance, because abundance is where that's where the pot of gold is at the end of the rainbow, right? Like that's where we're all headed. That's where we all want. So, abundance mindset for me, this one comes with like dismantling the competition frame in your mental scaffolding. Like there's this whole thing. It's like love and respect for anyone in this space trying to make a difference. It has worked out better in the long run to have made friends with everyone who is a quote unquote competitor and treat them as a categorical difference, as a choice. Right? That has worked out better for my mental health.
Yeah.
And to find some of those people and to say like, hey, here's like what I'm trying to figure out. Does it seem this way to you? And you can share notes. Most people are in a similar position and they want to share, and because they value that level of help and stuff like that. And it's the reciprocal thing is really good. So that's been really, really helpful in going for the abundance mindset, but also like not being afraid to move quick. Like Are markets not viable? Are combinations of problems in markets and solutions and all that shit, is that not viable? Whatever, like
Mhm.
problem, person, process? Correct, 100%. But we can't also linger forever. We gotta, know when to move.
Yeah.
And being able to do that quickly makes a massive difference. So to be
Yep.
able to find the amount, like, I don't want to live in there, because the longer you live there, yeah, like you're gonna end up in this. That's like, this sucks. This doesn't work. I can't. Like, what am I still doing? I can't get out.
Yeah.
Kind of scarcity mindset.
That feels like a good place to end.
You got nothing?
No, I got nothing because my buffalo chicken wrap just got delivered. Like I saw the man walk past the
Oh,
window with it, and now I'm just in buffalo chicken
yeah, you're
land.
good. I just watched my kids. Logan just had his first day of forest school.
Oh, Logan's in school now?
Yeah, he just started forest school today. It's basically like a rain or shine. Like, they just like go to this farm
Yeah,
or something like
yeah.
that, and then
I've heard it for they have forest schools all over the world, right?
I guess so. I don't know. I mean, so it was his first day, and you should have seen him. He was just like pumped, putting his boots on, his raincoat, and his hat, and his
Oh my
mittens. He was
God,
like,
that's
"Let's
so
fucking
cool.
go."
How many hours a day is he gonna do that?
It's like 3 hours on Fridays.
Oh, okay, okay.
It's just like one day a week, and
That's
it's more like, I think my wife goes with Mason too.
oh, they
Like,
go all
they all
together.
go. It's not like they drop them off. It's like a thing. I think maybe eventually they might be able to drop them. I'm not sure, but I think it's pretty much like a whole interactive, like,
That's
everyone's kind of
really
hanging
cool.
out, doing stuff in the woods, like in digging in the dirt type of thing.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love
So
that.
they just got home, so I want to go hear all about it.
Yeah, I can hear them. They just they entered. I can always hear when the Bennetts are home.